Are you struggling to enable Secure Boot to meet the system requirements for Windows 11? You've come to the right place. So I initially noticed this notification in the Windows Update tool. So, okay, your PC doesn't meet all the system requirements for Windows 11. Okay, so I downloaded the PC Health Check tool. You'll be routed to Microsoft for that download. And once you download and run it, you can check the system requirements for Windows 11. So, okay, it looks like for my case, the only thing holding me up is that my PC doesn't have secure boot enabled. Okay, no big deal. So before you go into the BIOS to start changing settings from legacy to UEFI and then enabling secure boot, let's go into disk management. Okay, find the disk that you boot from. So not external drives, not a flash drive, the disk that you boot from. Right click, properties, and volumes. Okay. So if it says master boot record here, then changing anything in the BIOS is not going to help. Okay. So we need to convert this master boot record partitioned volume into a GUID partition table. Microsoft has this tool, and I'll link this in the description below, MBR to GPT, okay? So it's a tool that converts a disk from the MBR partitioning to a GPT partitioning style. So make sure you meet the prerequisites before using this tool, okay? Disk is currently using MBR, that's obvious. The disk does not have any extended or logical partitions, so definitely not recommended if you're dual booting from one drive. It doesn't list it here, but I've also read on other articles where it's not recommended to have BitLocker enabled either, so I would recommend suspending that as well. Really quickly, before running this MBR to GPT tool from the command prompt, I would recommend backing up your data from your drive to an external drive, just in case if something were to go wrong, you wouldn't lose your data. So next, we want to open up command prompt and run it as an administrator. So we're going to type in MBR to GPT. And you can tab for that to autocomplete. Next, looking at the documentation, we'll want to add this convert option. Okay, so we want to convert to GPT. So /convert. We also want to add the /allowFullOS option as well. So we'll add that, allowFullOS. And we'll run that. Okay, so it does say conversion completed successfully. And we are getting this error message about failing to update ReAgentc.exe. Please try manually disable and enable. Quick note, I tried to run the ReAgentc.exe with the enable option command, but it failed. Although we'll run this command again after rebooting and it should succeed. So as it says in this message, before the new system can boot properly, you need to switch the firmware to boot to UEFI mode. Okay, so now we'll restart the computer, we'll go into the BIOS, and now we'll change our settings to UEFI now that we've converted our disk to GPT. Okay, so after restarting, I entered my BIOS settings. For me, it was hitting the F2 or delete key, although if you have a different motherboard, it might be different for you. So we're going to do two things while we're in here. We're going to go to the boot tab up top. First, we're going to click on compatibility support module. And initially, it's been enabled for me. And we're going to click the drop down and then disable that option. As you can see below, we want to disable it to fully support the Windows Secure Update and Secure Boot. Next, we're going to go back into the boot menu and then click on Secure Boot. And initially for me, it was set to Other OS to support booting non-UEFI modes. but just click the drop down and then we'll switch it to UEFI mode. Lastly, I hit F10 to save these options before rebooting back into Windows. All right, so now we're on the other side of successfully rebooting after disabling CSM and also enabling UEFI mode. So we're going to jump back into the command prompt. And again, remember to run it as an administrator. And then we're going to rerun the ReAgentc.exe command that failed earlier. And remember to add the enable option. And this time around, you should receive an operation successful message. Let's go into disk management to double check our boot disk. So again, find your boot disk. We'll go to volumes again. And now we have the GUID partition table for the partition style for this disk, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted. Now let's open our PC health check tool and see if we now meet the system requirements. All right, perfect. So that seemed to do the trick for meeting that system requirement for enabling secure boot. Didn't have to wipe the drive, didn't have to delete any data or anything like that. Although I definitely do recommend backing up your data before making that conversion from MBR, the master boot record, to the GUID partition table, GPT. Okay, so I would recommend backing up your data, even though it's likely to succeed. It does seem like it should work. If this helped you get through that obstacle for enabling secure boot to meet the system requirements for Windows 11, consider liking the video or let me know in the comments. Thanks for sticking around, y'all. I'll see you in the next video.